episode of the Arm Barm podcast. Not really too much crazy stuff going on in the world of sports. Not like too busy of a time of year. Obviously, we had the NFL draft a couple weeks ago. Didn't put out this episode last week, so there'll be 2 episodes out this week. We recorded one, just never freaking put it out like an idiot. But we'll put out both this week. So definitely check out both of those episodes. But in terms of the NFL draft, like we had our, I'm assuming a lot of serious dynasty people probably had their rookie drafts over the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
What has it been? 2 weeks since the draft?
Yeah, roughly 2 weeks. Yep.
2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, I guess, since the draft. Yeah. And we had ours, and ours is cool. Ours is cool for anybody who cares? Our league, just like we could talk about it here for a second, our league is pretty awesome. I mean, what do we have? Like 5-6 guys from Arizona and like the West Coast?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, roughly about that.
So who is Yeah. So you guys got a couple of you guys out there in Arizona. We got me in Illinois, and then we got more East Coast people too. Yeah. We got, then a couple, whatever, three or four people. We call it American Dynasty. We also have a league East versus West because of the wide variety of the country that we spread over. So it's pretty cool. Just guys that we've you've met, I've met over the last several years of our life, or even since since we're young. It's a pretty cool league. So we had our rookie draft. I thought it was really interesting how things shaped out. We can kind of talk about this right out the gate because this is what we love talking about is fantasy football in general. And I feel like, the NFL in terms of leagues is so far and above. I mean, they're booking stuff on Christmas. They're saying fuck you to the NBA. They don't give a fuck. Yeah. They seriously, it's crazy. They're booking Black Friday games. They literally do not care. No. They know they're the beast. Yeah. They know they're the beast, and they know that they can keep growing. And I know you agree with this because we've talked about it off the show, but in terms of like the young talent that keeps coming in, and every year at least a few of them are hitting. I feel like in the past there's been years where just like complete duds across the board in terms of like the quarterback position or just even the stars that they think are going to be the good players. Yeah. But I don't know about you. In these last couple of years, the draft has been more exciting. I don't know if it's because of social media. I don't know if just they've figured it out. But I just feel like everything's been way more exciting. I don't know if it's because of our fantasy leagues too, but kind of give me your take. What'd you think about the draft yesterday?
I thought the draft yesterday went well. Everyone, especially in the off season, sometimes it's hard to get a hold of people, but I tried since I run the league to kind of prep everyone and make sure everyone had everything ready to go. So there was no hiccups. Obviously, this is year 2 of our Dynasty League, so I think the draft went a lot more smooth than last year, where we had the
year 2 of rookie draft. This will be our third. This will be our third season.
Year 2 of rookie draft. So
rookie draft.
So I think this one definitely went more smooth than last year. People seem to have gotten a hang of it. As far as the real draft, I think one of the big things too is that they moved the draft around now, city to city, where it used to just be at Radio City Music Hall in New York. The same spot every year. It kind of gets redundant, right? Now you're bringing in fan bases from everywhere. And on top of that, too, they've done it for so long. They understand that it's a big deal. And they've realized now that the draft will get more views than any baseball game, any NBA game that's going on.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
So they've completely, I think they've just basically owned it. And now they're going all in. So I think
it's crazy. One of these weeks we should. I'll pull up some of the numbers of like the ratings and stuff. Because it's crazy. Like it literally I think I saw something last year when preseason was going on that like the preseason game or like the last week of preseason games, which nobody cares about essentially. The last week of preseason games got more views than like it was either MLB or NA or NBA more than any NBA game or MLB game for the entire season. So yeah, no, the NFL is so far and above everybody. What's up, y'all? Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Arm Barn Podcast. If you like G Fuel or would like to try the official drink of esports, use the code TheArmBarn at gfuel.com today. For my caffeine people, there's going to be some awesome products like the energy tubs and the energy cans. And then for my no caffeine people, there's also going to be some great products for hydration. So check that out today at gfuel.com and use the code TheArmBarn. And I think that's why we like talking about it, even as baseball guys. I mean, we basically only played baseball. We only cared about baseball. That was like our only goal in terms of college sports, in terms of moving on past that. But I'm not gonna lie, post my baseball career and I don't care. Yeah. I don't watch it. I keep track of like some guys. That's really what I do is I keep track of guys that I know. And that's what I'm interested in, seeing if they do good. But other than that, it's basically highlights and then basically just social media and storylines. That's how I keep up with it. I couldn't tell you, besides Nicole watching the White Sox, I couldn't tell you the last time I sat down and watched a 9-inning baseball game. Yeah. I don't know about you. Do you watch it at all?
No, for me, it's a couple reasons, right? Obviously, I got the kids running around.
Yeah, you got
stuff going on.
And
I'm coaching.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So obviously that changes in terms of my viewing. But
I don't even throw it on in the background anymore. Like I used to do that, is just like throw it on and then kind of leave it on. I don't even do that anymore, to be honest.
I still put it on in the background. If I see the Yankees are playing, I'll throw that on, or I'll watch the Braves. But I mean, in terms of watching any other like games, in terms of teams that I'm basically, if I'm not like sold on this team being relevant this year at all whatsoever, zero chance I'm watching it. I've been just flipping on, actually watching college games more than I have MLB games now, because there's so many MLB teams that are just brutal. I mean, just brutal watches. Where at least college, you got a couple dudes hitting over 400. You got some wild. It's wild how hard dudes are throwing out coming out of college too. So.
Oh,
it's just, I throw that on. It just seems to be more fun. There's guys talking way more shit, and it's way more enjoyable. Just as a viewing experience.
Did you see that the other day? Who was that? Where the guy struck out somebody? It was North Carolina. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was UNC versus somebody else. Okay. I don't know if you saw it, but like I can't think of. It actually wasn't a big time team. It wasn't like don't get me wrong. I think they were good. Yeah. I think the team that was good. I just can't think of the team name because it's not like a well-known big name. It's not a household school name, but whatever it was UNC versus this school, and kids struck them out. Just talked mad shit. Looked at them. Both benches came out. The coaches got in each other's faces. Yeah, no, just in terms of like an intensity standpoint, college baseball is way better. Yeah. And also too, I totally agree. I tend to just at least enjoy watching college baseball better. Also now with my job, it's going to be cool because like over the next couple of years, I'm probably going to have a couple of guys that I know at some of these schools. Yeah, so I'll definitely get more into it then. Also, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of glad that you brought up college baseball before we hopped on the show, just because it hasn't even been like something that's been in my head, like in terms of, let me watch it. I'm not going to lie, I absolutely am. Because I know you know this, and I've even mentioned it on the show a couple times, but I'm going to the College World Series. So I'll be there for a little over a week in June. Got a cool event. Like there's going to be a lot of my players there. Just a cool area. I've heard Omaha is just awesome. I've never been there. I know you have. What did we talk about it? I feel like we might have talked about it on the show one other time. But yeah, you went. I'm super excited. I know Nicole's going too, so we're excited about that heading into June here. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch it. I know Elijah Nunez from TCU. I met him in December. He was like a guest coach. He's a right fielder. I think he's playing right field for TCU. He was a 3rd round draft pick out of high school. And he was like a guest coach at our Pirate City event down in Florida in December. Yeah. Met him there. Super, super nice kid. Not that he's a kid. He's not like that. He's that much younger than me, but still he's in college. So I feel like until you graduate college, you're still considered a kid. Or just leave college. But I'm excited. I'll watch him. I'll watch a couple other guys that I know are Baseball Factory alumni that they've been bringing up. But I'm excited heading into that College World Series stuff for sure. But yeah, let's kind of go back to this rookie draft that we had. You know, you mentioned it on the little FaceTime that Bijan Robinson was the number 1 overall pick for the last 2 years. So yeah, what do you got on Bijan? You all in on that?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be a stud. I mean, who knows if he's gonna live up to the hype, because the hype right now is insane for him.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
But that being said,
I mean, I see Field Yates. I might tag him in this clip right here. I might create a little clip about what I'm about to say and tag Field Yates in it, because Field Yates, there was a video and Field Yates is saying, is giving the argument. I'm not saying that he thinks that Bijan, but he's giving the argument that Bijan could start to go 1-1 in redraft leagues.
Yeah, I think that's insane.
Insane. That's insane. Literally insane. But I'm not even kidding you. I can even pull it up here on the ESPN Fantasy Football app. It literally, the name of the video was the argument for Bijan Robinson to go first overall.
Yeah, again,
see if it's still up here.
I think he's very good, right? I think he's.
Oh, me too.
I think he's got a chance to be, like, do I think he could be RB1 in his rookie season? I think that could happen. Sure. Wouldn't shock me. Do I think he's going to be worthy of the 1-1 in his rookie year? Chances are no. That's kind of
no. I'm not gonna lie. I can literally think of 3 guys that I think I'd take over him personally, and I can't believe I'm gonna say one of them, because I was never like this. But no joke, I might dip into this this year just to do it before he's gone. Not that he's that old, but still. But like the Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
I mean, legitimately, I've never been the person that's like, oh, I'm considering Travis Kelce in the first round. I am 100% considering Travis Kelce in the first round of this year's
basically
draft.
He's a given every year now. It's
and it's like, and 2, it's like, like I don't really care about the positional advantage. I don't think like that's a huge thing in fantasy as people make it out to be. Because it's so much, there's so many other factors that I don't think it's huge. But yeah, it's like, I've been a no Kelce in the first round guy for like my entire fantasy football existence. And there's a solid chance that if he's available, I'm taking him, unless I have like a top 3 pick. Because I mean, I don't get how it's not a consensus that Justin Jefferson's 1-1 in redraft leagues.
To me, he's 1-1 in redraft for sure. And that's not because I own him in Dynasty. It's because he's literally he's probably getting
literally the 1-1.
He's the 1-1, and I think when it's all said and done, he's probably going to be the best receiver in NFL history. That's just that's what I think.
Just a take.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's a take.
I think right now, with what he's done in his first, what is it? Is it 3? Yeah, 3 years in the NFL.
3 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely
it's crazy.
Ridiculous. So I think, again, when it's all said and done, there's obviously always going to be debate over the GOAT, but I think he is going to have absolutely insane numbers. And I think it's pretty much going to be undeniable that he's the best receiver ever.
Yeah, here's my take on like this season in particular too, why I think he's going to probably have the best season of his career this year. I know they added Addison, and you know me, I like KJ Osborne, like Hawkinson, aside from being on my dynasty team, aside from fantasy reasons, just football now. But I think that's going to help him. Everybody keeps saying that, like, you want to be the number 2 across from Justin Jefferson, but I'm not going to lie. Like, defenses are not just going to leave KJ Osborne and Jordan Addison. You know what I mean? Like, and Hawkinson. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. So my thing is, he's going to get his chances to be in, advantageous situations. So I think personally, Justin Jefferson, I totally agree that if I for some reason get the 1-1, it's easy. Justin Jefferson, not even a debate in my head. But yeah, no, that's why when I saw that, don't get me wrong, he probably, he could just been doing that just to talk about the topic of Bijan going 1-1. So that's totally fine. But I just think there's no way. I think we saw it with the CEH situation. I just don't get me wrong. Bijan way different than CEH. Not what I mean, but I'm just saying in terms of like the hype getting overblown. I think like back end first round or even mid level first round for Bijan is kind of the move there. But all right, we went just kind of the first round here. I'll read it off here. We got 12-person league, PPR, full point PPR. We got no tight end. Super flex, no tight end premium. What do we start? My gosh,
we start. This is what separates our league, and I take pride in this because obviously I put it together. It's what separates.
Yes, I totally agree.
Is I like to
right now. Okay, I got it.
There you go.
I got it. We got QB. Obviously, I'll get to the super flex, but we got QB. Then we start 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and then we start 1, 2, 3, 4 flex spots, and then the super flex, which is QB, tight end, running back, wide receiver. So for me, I totally agree, because if you don't hit on any draft picks, if you don't hit on anybody in free agency, you're not going to have enough pieces on your team based on the roster sizes to even have a starting lineup to where guys are like, let's say, averaging double-digit points. Like you literally, it's hard to even put that together. And my team is like, I have like a couple guys that are like my last 2 flex spots are like borderline double-digit average guys. But like, for example, your team, I'm definitely, I have like the top end guys, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking, I have a little bit of a top heavy situation right now. But in terms of like your team, in terms of like a lot of teams, it's a tough roster to put together. Like even, I don't know about you have a good roster. I have a good roster, you know, based on the league for sure. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I look at it and I panic a little bit like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough. I need to get another guy. I need to get another guy here to kind of fill in some of these situations, because our roster in terms of starting players is so big to where if you have 1 or 2 injuries throughout the season, it is tough. It is tough to get that consistency, bye weeks, things like that. But yeah, no, I think our league is sick in terms of we got, you know, 2 taxi squad spots, big bench. So in terms of like really having to do your research, and I know you do your research too, but it is cool how we do it in terms of the size. What do you got? Like you've been in a couple. Have you ever been in another dynasty league, or is this the only one you've ever done?
This is the only dynasty league I've ever done. I think dynasty is the way to go. That's
agreed.
That's my take on it. I like it because it's fantasy football all year round. Like it's cool. I like when it's freaking, you know, June 10th and I get a freaking notification that I got a trade offer. You know, like I think that's cool. You know, I think.
Or even like what I love is like an article comes out or like a news story comes out. For example, Pacheco, easy example to relate it to. Isaiah Pacheco's killing it in camp. A lot of buzz. Then all of a sudden it's like, okay, pick him up. Now people want him, and it's just like throughout the whole summer. It's great.
Let me one up you on that. I love like the Tom Brady coming back out of retirement. And dude, you know, as soon as it's out, the fight is on to just run to your phone and freaking add
even your bitch ass instantly with the Antonio Brown thing. Antonio Brown. Exactly. Oh wait, no, this is a good one. This is a good one. Remember when I got duped?
Yeah.
Remember when I got duped with Julian Edelman? Yeah. There was a fake fucking news story. I don't remember what I was doing. I was either at like a baseball factory event or I was like caught up in something. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was like, you know, just doing nothing to where I could Google search it quick and then make my decision. Boom. I just saw that there was a chance that Julian Edelman was coming out of retirement, and I literally scooped him up instantly, and everybody in the group chat was like, dumbass, that's fake, that's fake, that's fake. I was like, damn. But yeah, no, I love that shit. It's literally entertainment all year. I'm thinking about it all year. But Dynasty, I totally agree. I like redraft, but I'm not going to lie. Every time you open up that tab, like even during the season, it's opening up to Dynasty because that's where I'm sticking to each time.
And it keeps the boys together.
Okay, so
that's the last thing.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I've been thinking about, I'm not even kidding you, I've been thinking about creating and obviously you'd be in this, but I've been thinking about even creating like an Arm Barn podcast fantasy league to where we get like a dynasty league where it's even if it's $20 a head for the season, we have everybody on the show once throughout the season, like things like that. Even if it's like 10 people, Brian, Nolan, like these guys, something easy, people who care too. So it would be a fun situation. But all right, let's get to this draft. So we went Bijan 1-1, This one kind of surprised me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like the first 3 picks in our draft surprised me. You can obviously give your takes here. I'm all in on Gibbs. I think Gibbs is going to have a great season. I think he's going to be huge in PPR. I saw an article where they're like the Lions are considering this Gibbs, David Montgomery stuff as an upgrade from DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. And I don't know about you, I can't agree more with that. I love Jamal Williams. DeAndre Swift, I think, is a good player, but I totally agree with they upgraded both of their guys there. Their two running backs are better. You agree with that there?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I actually think I remember when you were staying at my house, pulling up Jahmyr Gibbs last year before he was going to Bama, pulling up his Georgia Tech tape and showing him to you like, hey, he's gonna freaking ball out. And I was all in for him. Literally, the only reason why I obviously couldn't even make an attempt at Gibbs was because of obviously where I picked in the draft, and then on top of that, like, dude, I ended up trading my one to get Josh Jacobs throughout the year to try to make a run, right? But dude, I was all in on Gibbs for the last year and a half, basically. And then you said too that you thought it was a little bit of a shock that he went at number 2. I instantaneously knew he was going to go at number 2.
No, I know, but I'm saying like I knew that because we talked about it and you had reached out. I don't do that with like you do. I don't reach out to guys and get the feelers. But you had told me that the first 3-4 picks might be not QB, and I was like, damn, really?
Because obviously I'm trying to see who's going to fall. But dude, I didn't even reach out to him though. Like, hey, who are you picking? I reached out to him and I go, hey, tell me Gibbs isn't going to be on your team. So Keith, who had the 2 pick, right? He's a Detroit Lions fan. Last year he wanted Jameson. He's been hit. So he's hitting me up all the time because he wants Jameson Williams, which obviously is not happening. But so I knew
could wreck him in a trade for Amon-Ra.
So you very well might have a chance to do that.
He probably traded his whole team for him.
And on top of that, he's kind of sitting in an okay spot. He's got Kirk Cousins, he's got Geno Smith, and he's got Daniel Jones. And while those aren't like huge real life,
but he could wait a year. Yeah, he could wait a year. He could wait 2 years, and he'd be okay. Yeah.
So I knew it.
That's the fun part about Dynasty is like seeing what decisions guys make in those areas. Because are you willing to roll out Geno Smith and Daniel Jones as your QB, 2 and 3 this year? Or are you trying to do this? So I was shocked a little bit. This next pick didn't make any sense to me. I literally didn't make any sense to me at all. Now, don't get me wrong, top 5, 6, 7, I 100%. But dude, Jackson Smith-Njigba at number 3 to a team. G Woods, what the hell, man? You need a quarterback, dude. You need a quarterback.
He's building that wide receiver room for sure.
Which we've talked about in the past. In Dynasty, it's huge, especially PPR, especially our format with all those flex spots, the way the league is a passing league, the way the running back situation is, which is we talked about where most teams are going to that 2-headed monster role. Wide receiver and quarterback, in my opinion, and obviously having a solid tight end is huge, but wide receiver, there's only one tight end spot. So having a solid wide receiver and quarterback room is super important, especially in our Dynasty league. So that's why, Jackson Smith-Njigba kind of shocked me a little bit with Garrett, but I get what you're saying in terms of he does have at least serviceable QBs heading into the season to where he could take that risk. And then I'm sure, he's probably got picks out the ass for the next couple years.
Yeah, he's got,
or he probably will end up having picks out the ass too.
He had a decent amount of picks this year as well. And then next year, I think he's got 3 second-round picks on top of a first and a third. So, he's got 5 more picks getting ready to rebuild that team.
I don't know about you, but every time those picks like slide up, and all of a sudden I have like the new picks available, I'm always like,
can I get rid of them?
Okay, I have 2.
That's what you think.
I'm always like, I have 2. I'm like, I have 2 years to get these picks back if I need anything, so I might as well just dish them, get value for now, and then I'll fucking piece it together. I'll just piece it together each draft what I've done, and like we're gonna definitely get into that kind of stuff in a second here, but moving on, this next pick I think was good by Chad, right? Yeah, Chad. Anthony Richardson, that's who I would have taken as the first QB for fantasy wise. Bryce Young, I think, is probably going to have the best career maybe in the beginning. I think he'll have the best shot to have early success. But in terms of Stroud has a chance at that too. I don't think Stroud.
Yeah, Stroud and Young, I think,
Go ahead.
are the ones that are gonna. They're both in decent spots to produce. I think quick. Richardson,
Agreed.
I think he could produce fantasy wise quick because I think his legs. I mean, the dude's a freak
Agreed.
athlete.
Like I think it's going to be very similar to Justin Fields in terms of like at least having like somewhat production right out the gate because of the running floor. And also too, like I'm not gonna lie, the Eagles, the fact that he has that Eagles guy who worked with Jalen Hurts ever since like I found out about that, dude. I mean that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
So
I mean, because
dude had Herbert's rookie year as well.
Oh, no, it was
both.
Herbert. Oh, so both. I thought both. Okay. So yeah, no, there you go. So that's exactly. So you know, I totally agree. I mean, Herbert threw for 5,000. No, I don't think Richardson's going to throw for 5,000 yards now, but I mean, that's still, you know, if he throws for 3,500 and, you know, rushes for 750 or something, like, I mean, that's probably top 10 fantasy quarterback, easy. So easy top 10 fantasy quarterback. So, unless he throws like 1,000 picks, but yeah, no, I think that's a solid pick. Anthony Richardson coming off the board first for fantasy purposes. Don't hate that at all. Then we went 3 in a row. So we went Anthony Richardson, Stroud, Bryce Young, bang, bang, bang. No real, I don't think that's shocking there. You know, besides Jackson Smith and Jigba going before those guys and Gibbs going before those guys, pretty much normal first couple picks here. Then we went Addison was the second wide receiver taken off the board, which, you know, there it starts to get kind of just who you like the best. I think personally, those top 3 are Smith and Jigba, Addison, Quentin Johnson in terms of fantasy purposes. And then we had Quentin Johnson go after that to the Chargers. I think that was a really solid pick by Vinny. Honestly, I think like with him having Herbert, yeah, I think that was a really good pick by Benny, and I don't give Vinny credit too often, but that's a good pick for sure.
Too, because he had the 1-4 and he made a big deal with Chad. Vinny picked up additional
to move back,
and Vinny still, I believe, was still targeting Quentin Johnson either way. So
yeah, no, for sure. So he moved back, and then he
got 1 or 2 additional first-round picks in future drafts. So
yeah, he didn't pick up the 2. He didn't pick up the 2-2 in that deal. So yeah, he picked up. So we'll get there in a second, but yeah, he picked up the 2-2-2, which I think he reached. I do think he reached a little bit, but also the upside's there though. The upside is 100% there to where that pick may not be bad. But I personally think he did reach a little bit there. But in terms of this next pick, what the fuck, Mingo? Mingo is. You know what's funny? I texted you about him because I was like, "Yo, I think he's a candidate to fall to me." I literally thought he was a candidate to fall to me in the back half of the second round. To where if you came up and Mingo was still there, I was gonna text you about it, and I was gonna be like, "Yo, let's get something done here," because I like him, but not there, not there at all. I would have rather Zay Flowers. I would have rather the next. No joke. I probably would have rather the next like 5-6 picks, as opposed to Mingo in terms of like value. But what do you got? Mingo, I mean, kind of a crowded wide receiver room there. Even though there's nobody like elite, it's kind of crowded.
I think he has the potential to be good, right? But I think there's a bunch of other dudes there that would have fit, 1, his team better, and 2, would have been a little bit safer of selections that high in the draft. You know, I mean, Kincaid was still on the board. You still had Zay Flowers. Like a lot of running backs still on the board, and to go Mingo, I'm not 100% sure. I can tell you right now, I wouldn't have gone Mingo.
Especially too, I want to see. Let me see if I can. Is it possible? Oh yeah, we can. Okay. Especially too, considering the roster.
Yeah.
Like his quarterbacks are Mariota, Trubisky, Sam Darnold, Jalen Hurts, Davis Mills, and Sam Howell. And he could have picked up Will Levis right there too. Like I would have rather him gone for Levis there.
If I was him, I would have gone Levis because again, like he has 2 starters right now, right, in Hurts and Howell. But again, Will Levis, this is the cheapest you're going to get a quarterback, and like he is QB needy, big time QB needy.
Yes,
Because again, you don't even
100%.
know, like you don't even know
100%.
if Sam Howell is going to be the start of the whole year.
No.
So
No, that's why I could. Well, we don't even have to talk
yeah,
about
that
that
trade.
trade. We had that trade was
No,
not good.
no.
That trade was not good. And the thing that gets me tight, and sometimes I do feel like it's because some people, whatever, it is what it is. But just on paper, in terms of rosters, we tend to have a better roster than a lot of guys in terms of just on paper and in terms of what we built. So I've 100% sent out better trades to Craigo than that one, and that gets me. And I think and I know this is nothing. This is nothing against anybody in our league. It's competitive. Everybody can do whatever the fuck they want. I don't take anything personally, but I also feel like I am the villain of the league a little bit, which I love, which I absolutely love. That is the role that I embrace. It's been my role in every single thing that I've ever done in my entire life, to where I'm a nice guy, to my team. But in terms of the other team or people I'm going against, usually they don't like me too much. So I love the villain role in fantasy football. I stir the pot in the group chat. I fucking call people out for bullshit. I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, I don't get Mingo at 1.9 at all. Everything you can make the argument, every other pick before that, there's an argument to why you could take them in the slot that they did. That was the first one that kind of shocked me a lot. I like Ferrante's Zay Flowers pick in the 110, like that, in terms of immediate value, like right out the gate, I don't know, but it could go either way. But in terms of I think it's going to be a good thing because, how long is Odell going to be there? How long is
Well,
who else
Bateman can't stay healthy, so
that's what I'm saying. Those guys, Zay Flowers, I think instantly. Don't get me wrong, probably on paper right now, Bateman's still ahead of him on the depth chart, but I don't think it's going to take long for that to go away. This pick, I love. Kincaid to Buffalo, fantastic. At 111, I think Kincaid should have gone higher. We're going to definitely talk about who you took in a little bit as well, because the fact that he fell that late is fucking bullshit. But Kincaid, I love Kincaid heading into this season. I think that he's probably has a chance to get the second most targets on the Bills. What do you think on that?
He's basically going to be a wide receiver. This isn't like a hot take. He's going to be a wide receiver with a tight end designation. You know what I mean? So for fantasy wise,
100%. And
makes sense.
I think too, they'll probably roll out both of those guys. Like Knox and Kincaid will probably be on the field a lot. And that's going to help Josh Allen in the run game. It'll help him with protection, all that good stuff. Because obviously, in terms of Kincaid's probably a better blocker than your average wide receiver. So, So in terms of that kind of stuff, I think it's a huge. I think it's a good move. I think Kincaid will be a dog.
Keith,
I don't think I'm going to risk it for sure.
Dude,
good draft. Keith had a good draft for sure.
And Kincaid in the first round to add to his team, I think he's
really solid. Yeah, no, for sure. And I think he doesn't have bad wide receivers, does he?
He's old, but again,
that's where he needs to get it going.
But I like he took the best player available right there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, I can agree more. 100%. He didn't draft necessarily completely based on need. He went for long term and just value overall. So then we went Will Levis at 112 to finish off that first round. So the first round went Bijan, Gibbs, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Anthony Richardson, Stroud, Young, Addison, Quentin Johnson, Mingo, Flowers, Kincaid, Will Levis. So for you dynasty people out there, I think that's pretty normal first round for the most part, besides maybe like one or two picks. But overall, pretty common. I'm curious. I don't even know. Like, I wish more people talked about dynasty on like TikTok even and stuff. I see like very rare amount of dynasty information. Obviously, fantasy football is huge and they're always talking about it. But I feel like I don't know if you watch any of the ESPN fantasy football shows or anything like that, but like usually it's like they talk redraft all the time, and then they'll be like at the end, be like, oh, and for you dynasty people, here's some dynasty information. So in terms of like this, it's super cool. And I encourage anybody who likes fantasy football to try dynasty and like form a dynasty league for sure. But all right, heading into the second round, we don't got to go through every single pick here. But it went Downs, Hyatt, Mims, Charbonnet, Rice. How do you say that? Kane?
A Chain.
Con?
Devon A
No
Chain.
way.
Yeah.
That's how you
I'm like
pronounce that?
99% sure. Yeah, Devon.
I've been saying a chain A. I've been saying a Kane. So what is it?
Devon A Chain.
Devon A Chain. Man, that makes me like him better. That's a sick ass last
Yeah.
name. A Chain. That sounds
Yeah.
like A Train from
The Boys.
The
Yeah.
Boys.
Great show.
But all right, so that's who we went. Unbelievable show. That's the kind of shit we should talk about too. Once the new seasons come out, like, did you watch have you caught up on the Mandalorian at all?
We've been on a Yellowstone kick,
dude. You gotta watch, dude. This season 3 of the Mandalorian is fucking legit. You like Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it forever, but yeah.
No, but I'm saying in terms of like a show, like you like Clone Wars. And if you've ever watched if you've ever watched Clone Wars from start to finish, I personally think it's the best thing Star Wars has ever done in terms of like execution, artistically, I guess you could say. But that's what this Mandalorian season has. It's literally verbatim live action Clone Wars, and it is fucking sick. It is so sick if you're a Star Wars fan. But yeah, no, that's something that I do love to do on the show, is talk that kind of shit as well. But all right, this is where I personally think you probably, like, obviously these first round picks, high value. I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of the first round picks, they're gonna be high value, fantasy relevant, things like that. But I think in terms of like where you got them, value. Excuse me, oh my gosh, that was New York to the max right there. But in terms of value, I think this Michael Mayer pick, in terms of a starting tight end, a guaranteed, literally a guaranteed tight end one. For Vegas, Michael Mayer at 2.7. Those of you who are in dynasty leagues, I'll post this because you got Michael Mayer at 2.7 and I don't understand it. So I kind of want to know where he's going in dynasty leagues, because it has to be higher than 2.7. There's no fucking way, especially in a lot of dynasty leagues are tight end premium, I'm pretty sure too.
A lot of them are,
So I can't believe you got Mayer. Because you don't even need a tight end. You didn't even want to go tight end probably. But again, value there, huge.
No, we talked about it, I think, even on the show previously, that if Mayer was there, I'd have a very hard time passing on him.
Agree. Yeah.
Basically
I'll tell you right now.
So basically what it came down to is that, like, I went into this draft hoping that either Kendre Miller or Tank Bigsby was going to fall to me. And they were there. The problem is that I have Mayer as basically one of the few sure things in this draft. So, like, I've seen some people in the fantasy football community talking about how they think Michael Mayer doesn't have crazy upside, or, it may take him a little while to develop. And to like, when I hear that from people, I instantaneously shut off the show.
Yes.
Because, dude, like, Michael Mayer literally came in as a freshman at Notre Dame, which is basically tight end U, or one of the few universities that constantly produce
tight end producers.
Just put out NFL tight end after NFL tight end. And the dude literally broke like a ton of records and has produced since day one at Notre Dame. And that's produced too with multiple quarterbacks, multiple garbage quarterback situations. And it's not like Notre Dame's putting out a ton of wide receivers. It's not like Notre Dame's putting out a ton of running backs. So, like, the fact that he was the guy in the offense for 3 years of his career, came in and crushed it. The dude mauls people in blocking. They're saying, oh, he's not crazy athletic. The dude gets open. He makes every play. He can make guys miss. He can go through dudes. Like, I don't know what else you could possibly want. Like, yeah, he's not as fast as a Kincaid, right? He's not one of maybe these flashy, wide receivers that essentially play tight end. But, bro, he literally does everything. So for me, when I look at it and I go, okay, he basically is going to come in, and I know that they signed Austin Hooper and they signed freaking O.J. Howard. It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, come on,
So he's going to come in. He's going to be the starter. I'll be shocked if he isn't. He's going to come in and produce right away. There's no way he hasn't, because there hasn't been anywhere that he hasn't produced. So for me, I'm looking at that and I go, well, it's a mid-second round pick, and I can get a sure thing that is going to be on my team for the next freaking 10, 12 years at tight end. Like, how do I not hit freaking draft? So I'm like, hey, let's freaking do it.
You're right. There has been a couple. I not fact checked you, but I wanted to confirm for
Yeah,
the viewers in terms of tight ends coming out of Notre Dame, and I just have
yeah,
three here. I have
yeah,
three that I'm looking at. And there's could definitely be more, but in terms of talent wise,
yeah,
Tyler Eifert, first of all, really
yes,
really good tight end. Injuries fucked him every time
yeah,
he's been out there. He produced. Kyle Rudolph, very very good
yeah,
NFL tight end. Maybe not fantasy
yeah,
great fantasy wise, but still really really good long career there. And then
yeah,
Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet's legit
yep,
as. I mean, if he could be a guy that he's a guy. Did they just draft a tight end? No, right?
no,
Um, but either way, exactly like in
no.
terms of producing NFL talent, guys, how
Well, dude,
often do you have an NFL a guy drafted from a
yeah,
school, a tight end even?
and to that
So
point, right? Those guys coming out,
less than three in the last, or even five in the last 10
right?
years. You know what I mean?
But then, and then to
Yeah.
further that point, it's like, I mean, can we I think objectively say that Michael Mayer was significantly better than all three of them? Like, dude,
Oh,
it's not.
college.
No,
Yeah, not even
dude,
close.
literally just.
Not even
I mean,
close.
so to me, that's why this was, as much as I wanted a running back, I did. I fully wanted one of
Yeah.
them to fall, but I just.
And I
Me
like
too.
Miller. I like Miller. I like Roshan Johnson,
Right.
and I like
And
Bigsby.
I like them too. I just, again, I look at it and I go, hey, that gives me so much flexibility now where I have three tight ends that I am probably not gonna have to take a tight end for the next, no bullshit, like 12 years.
That's
So
literally how I feel. That's literally
right,
how I feel. It's crazy that because tight end, if you can get for example, I have Hawkinson. Like in my head, I'm getting eight
yeah,
seasons of fantasy production. He's 25 years old. I'm talking. There's a chance that he is top
right,
five in fantasy if he stays healthy for the next
right.
8 years. I don't even have to think about it. If fucking Bowers is there, don't get me wrong, I'm
I know,
fucking taking
I
him.
know.
But
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, in terms of overall, it's I don't get, yeah, get your guy. I mean, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these guys, everybody that picked in the second round, I'm looking at Downs, Hyatt, Mims, Charbonnet, Rice,
A
Kane,
chain.
or
Yeah,
whatever the heck his name is.
yeah,
I'm never gonna get that
yeah,
right. A chain. I would take Mayer. I would take Mayer over all of those. All of those.
yeah.
Literally, not based on my roster, but I'm just in terms of value. I would take him over all of those. So I don't understand. Yeah, I didn't understand that at all. I didn't know how he felt to you, but I mean, in terms of value there, that's huge. So yeah, then Kendre Miller went right after you. Solid pick there. I think,
Agreed.
especially if a Kamara goes, he'll have his opportunity and it'll be good there. You knew
Yeah,
this. I was pissed that Apollo took Roshan. That's really who I was targeting with my pick. I really wanted him there. I had a couple guys. I had Hyatt
yeah.
also. I was thinking maybe Hyatt could fall. With a lot of New York guys in our league,
I know.
probably knew it wasn't going to happen, so I wasn't sold on that. But I had a couple guys. I had Roshan Johnson, and then I'm not going to lie,
Yeah.
if Apollo didn't take Laporta from Detroit, I was
Yep.
100% taking Laporta with my pick. But I know in terms of where he went in the draft, I took
Yeah.
my guy high. I'm not going to lie. I did a little bit of research on him, what age, his situation, the fact that his last year at LSU was
Yeah.
his worst year, things like that. I did a lot of research post me picking him. Don't get me wrong, I knew what I was drafting, like in terms of the basic why I took him, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm hyped. I'm pretty pumped about my pick here. I don't know about you. What do you got
No,
on that pick? You can
no,
negatively comment there. It's all
I
good
already
if you want
I
to,
already told
but
you, like, the talent we've seen the talent. My issue is that when you see the talent and then for 2 years basically it diminishes. I'm a little hesitant in terms of whether or not the dude's a full-fledged gamer. You know what I mean? I don't know how invested he is in football. That's my.
here's
Yeah, of
you want to
course.
you want
Yeah,
you want to
Bill
know why
Belichick.
I took him? No. I'm just going to counter. I'm just going to counter that really quick. Every big game he's ever played in, when he was against Georgia, when he was against literally any SEC team, if you look up his highlights, if you look up his stats, he literally fucking was the best player on the field. Literally, he was the best player on the field against Georgia. He went for like 6-7 catches, over 100 yards, and a touchdown against the Georgia number one team, number one defense, literally the national championship defense, and he did it with a fucking shitty lefty throwing him the ball like an ass. Don't get me wrong, obviously a good quarterback, but I'm saying in terms of college football, he didn't do it with anybody. So he didn't have Joe Burrow. He went for over 1,000 as a freshman. And in terms of like what I saw on tape, it is literally better than a lot of guys' tape. That's what sold me, was his tape in itself. So in my eyes, I was looking for upside and also situation. If he goes in and he's clearly the most talented wide, because I think he could be more talented than Juju. I'm not even kidding you. Just based on explosiveness, based on after the catch. So I'm hoping he goes in there and solidifies that number 2 spot, and Mac Jones really likes him. And things like that. And hopefully this is a project that the Patriots did that works out. Because, they take on projects. Some of them work out. Some of them don't. So I'm hoping this is the one. This is obviously one of the ones that hit. I also, and you agree with me on this a lot, I also love the fact that he's only 21 years old as well. So that always I do take into consideration when I'm doing this in Dynasty. But okay, third round, I don't think anything crazy. I think something that we can talk about really quick in the third round is Spears. Tyjae Spears fell to the third round in our league, and I didn't even know because I wasn't like sold on taking him. I wasn't even really thinking about taking a running back in either one of my spots unless Roshan or one of the guys that you mentioned, Kendre Miller, was there too. But in terms of Spears falling to the third round, that shocks me based on the league a little bit. But wow, no ACL. One of his fucking knees. Now, does that just mean that's a good thing? Because now, if he doesn't have an ACL, he can't tear it? Or is that like after one season of NFL contact to where if he's a starting running back in the NFL, I'm obviously not this year, but is he going to be essentially effed?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a big risk, So that's why, like, even me, who in our league I have Derrick Henry. I mean, a lot of people would probably say, "Oh, you should probably try and get his handcuff," or we've even talked about owning an entire backfield, right? But I just looked at that and I go, I can't waste a pick on a guy where it's all the medicals are looking like it could only be maybe a couple of years and then he's done, and two, it's not like it's a Bijan, where the upside is so high that like, okay, I'll sign up for a 2-3 year run of crazy upside. You know what I'm saying? And then if it's done, third round. No.
I don't hate it where he
no.
I don't hate that at all. But no, I totally agree. I totally agree because for me, I was even at one point, he was like a running back guy that I was for real targeting. And then I was like, it did kind of fade. It kind of, my attraction to Tyjae Spears in terms of Dynasty did kind of fade as we got closer to the draft. But, I guess one last pick we'll talk about was my third round pick here. I also like Tillman. Apollo getting Tillman in the third, I think was a really, really good pick because I was thinking about taking him with my second round pick. The age that was what did it for me between Boot and Tillman. What is Tillman? I think 24 already.
And we're going to see a lot of he may be 24 by the time the season starts. I think that was what the thing is. But dude, I think the thing too is that over the next couple of years, we're still going to see the older guys come out because of all the COVID nonsense where they got the extra year of eligibility. A lot of guys stayed back, so they're coming out at 24. Or, Stetson Bennett being 25 or Hooker being 25.
I can't believe. Is that true? He doesn't have any bachelors? So he's been at Georgia for 5 years?
Yeah, because he went JUCO first.
Okay. So he went JUCO, then was at Georgia for 4 years?
He went Georgia, then JUCO, then back to Georgia.
For a total of 5 years. And doesn't have a bachelor's in anything? Dude, he is a fucking idiot, dude. He literally is like he almost is like a Walmart Johnny Manziel. That's what he fucking reminds me of.
Though, so I mean,
okay, but if Johnny Manziel was on those Georgia teams, no, they would have fucking. I mean, come on now, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I think he'll get a shot. I wouldn't shut. You said this. I've said this. He'll fucking start a couple games in the NFL at some point.
Backing up Stafford this year.
Dude, I would get him. He should be on your fucking roster, dude.
Picked him up.
I didn't know that. Oh, he did. I'm seeing that right here. But yeah, no, that's crazy. He'll start some games. If they start sucking,
potentially, yeah.
Bro, if they start sucking ass, you know what I'm saying, towards the end of the year, maybe like the last couple games, they'll give him a shot or get him in there. But I love that I got Hendon Hooker in the third. I was thinking about taking him with my 212, and I'm so fucking glad I did it.
2-7 to take him, depending on how the draft was going.
That's what I'm saying. This is because for me, don't get me wrong. I am if anybody's a Jared Goff believer, it's fucking me. And this is long before he started playing good. I've been a Jared Goff believer in terms of I'm talking just like a 100% NFL starter, because there was times where he was considered not an NFL starter, and or where it was trending towards not being an NFL starter, I should say. I never thought that. I mean, if you lead a team to a Super Bowl, regardless of the roster, regardless of the coaching, because look at the Rams now. You know what I mean? Look, don't get me wrong, they got the Super Bowl, but I don't know if that was a good deal at the end of the day. Obviously, for the Super Bowl, you'll do that every single time. But in terms of long term, I don't know there. But I took Hendon Hooker 3-8. And I'm pumped about that. He'll sit in my taxi squad. Also, now if Jared Goff for some reason gets hurt, I'm not gonna have to hit the panic button. Because don't get me wrong, I don't know if he'll step right in, if it would happen in the beginning of the season, but at least he would eventually get the shot and play a little bit. So I'm pumped about there. But any other picks that you like? I like Laporta, by the way. No. I think Laporta is a dog. But I agree with you. What you said on the FaceTime about reports and shit coming out before, to where we want to try to beat that in future years. Don't get me wrong. I think we beat it this year too, but that's one of the ones where I think if we did it right after the draft, he would have fell even longer.
Yeah, I think Apollo was pretty locked in because he basically hedged his bets on this year. So Apollo probably still would have taken him in that pick. But I think, I'll tell you right now, I don't think Mingo would have gone 1-9 or whatever. I think those extra 2 weeks. So I personally, I like to have the draft as soon as the real draft is over. That way
it would be sick to have it that same weekend. Thursday, you know what I'm saying? Like Sunday, it ends Saturday usually, or does it end Sunday?
So we said even if we did it that Saturday night or something,
it'd be sick. Yeah, that'd be sick. You get 2 hours after the draft, and then you fucking fire it up. Yeah, that'd be cool.
You have to have everything done in terms of all your scouting on your dudes, and then just the last piece is where they go.
And then you kind of start. You're like, oh shit, okay, I like that, don't like that. Yeah, so that's I totally agree that no, but I thought it was good this year. I thought out of all, compared to last year, I think we're definitely trending in the right direction in terms of the league, and in terms of guys locking it in. But we do have a couple guys that need to still, lock it in a little bit more.
Sure. Hey, touch.
Yes. I want to get fucked one time. You know what I mean? I want to literally look at the waiver wire and somebody pick something up, and I'm like, why did they pick him up? And then I look at it and I'm like, oh shit, I wish I would have done that.
No,
that has not happened yet. So
quick, so the cool thing too is as soon as the draft's done, free agency's open, so you could sign extra players.
That was sick. Were you literally on it? I was literally on the trending button, and as soon as I had the draft on my computer and the trending on my phone, and as soon as the draft hit 0 or that last pick was made, boom, you were able to do it, and instantly it was like a race to get guys. That shit was fucking hilarious. And a lot of guys didn't prep for it before, so some guys had to drop players, and I made that move that morning, and I was ready to go, to where I knew as soon as those guys were available, I wanted a chance at least a couple guys. And I can't believe I literally thought, because I went Is it Booty
I
or
think
is
it's
it Boot?
like Boutte or something like Keishawn Boutte. Yeah.
Tay, right? Because they've been saying some funny ass shit about some memes and like some shit about him, whatever. But yeah, I was even debating taking this guy
Yeah.
at my 212, and I got him post draft. I don't fucking get it. Now, don't get me wrong. You're right with what you said that it makes like my team makes the most sense in terms of who got him. In terms of like the league, if you look at the running back rooms for league, there is value here for sure. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Deuce Vaughn. Now, do I think he's going to ever be a starter? Do I think he's ever going to be like a guy that, no. But could he be like a Darren Sproles? Did Darren Sproles have fucking fantasy value in terms of PPR? Absolutely he did. So in terms of like that, I'm pumped. I have the entire Dallas backfield. So I'm set there. If two guys go down in the Dallas backfield, I still have a running back that I can put in there now in Dynasty. So I'm feeling good about that. I love the fact that I got Deuce Vaughn afterwards. Your pick, again, is another one that I do not get based on situation, how nobody fucking did this, how nobody took him. What the heck's his name? Give it.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua. Because you're right. You know, that's a situation there where, yeah, no, I totally agree that he could have some value. He could immediately have fantasy value, be fantasy relevant for sure.
No.
Any other guys?
With Puka, I just looked at him and I go, hey, you know, the Rams skill position people last year were abysmal. They didn't do anything to add to it besides Puka Nacua. So like, and excuse me. Then you watch the tape, and dude, I mean, I get it. He's at BYU, but you watch him against SEC defenses, albeit Arkansas, but like they're still SEC defense. The dude just shredded him. He can take.
Yeah, that is literally what you just said is the sole reason I took the guy that I did in my 212 spot. Yeah. So I totally agree that if you torch SEC defenses or you just, you know, look the part to where you're creating separation, you don't even have to put up stats. But if you just create, I'm totally with you. And
the big thing, and I'm not patting myself on the shoulder here too much, but like the big thing that people need to look at is the situation. So again, to your point, right? Like last year, I saw with the Packers they lose Devontae, and now they're bringing in all these rookie receivers. So I went exactly.
Someone's got to get the ball.
I took a chance on Romeo Doubs, knowing that Christian Watson was going to get all the draft capital, right? Take the chance on Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs is at least serviceable some weeks last year and showed that he can play at the NFL level, and he's probably going to be relevant.
And I personally think what fucked you in terms of making it seem like it was like the best, honestly, pick in Dynasty history was his injury. If he didn't get injured, you know, he was just on the brink of like, you know, really being the dude because Christian Watson was out, right? Yeah. Watson was out, and Dobbs looked the part. He got the vouch from Rodgers. Everything was looking the part. And then, obviously Christian Watson did break out, so it kind of diminished it a little bit. But in terms of like, I don't get that at all.
But what people don't realize is that Christian Watson's breakout games were when Romeo Doubs was injured. So that's
injured. Yeah, I know.
So if you're looking at value across the board.
Yeah, but Romeo Doubs never had one game like Christian Watson did. Christian Watson had like 2 or 3 of them. So in terms of like heading into the season, Dobbs is 100% below Christian Watson. Not even a debate in my head, but I totally agree that I think it's them too. I really do think it's them going to be 1-2, and I think they're their wide receivers. I do.
That again, Christian Watson got taken around the 1-8, 1-9, whereas then I went and took Romeo Doubs undrafted. So I had to use 0. So that's all I'm saying is guys need to look at the draft capital they're spending versus situations, right? So with this, again, there's no set number 2. So you might as well take a chance on the only guy that the Rams brought in. That's all I'm saying.
Like, for example, I totally agree because, for example, I liked Abani Conda. I loved Abani Conda. I think he's a solid running back. There was 0% chance he'll ever touch my roster unless fucking some crazy shit happens because there is no way that, like, he'll be fantasy relevant unless some major injuries happen.
Because, dude, Breece Hall, I can make an argument.
Do you think he has a chance to move above Michael Carter?
So not in that role, because I think Carter's going to end up being the third down back. Carter's an elite pass catcher. I think he's going to get a pass catching out of the backfield. Abani Conda is not. He can do it. but he can't. I think Abanikano's role is going to be spelling Breece Hall. But again, when it comes to fantasy, that doesn't really mean anything because Breece is the guy. Let's be real here. Breece is the dude.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. I'm having mouse issues again to where I figured it out, and now it's literally not letting me change anything here. So give me a second here, but yeah, no. In terms of like anything else, I like the fact, I agree. It's crazy how these guys, like, I look forward to the end of the draft because like I look at that value to where it's that situation to where if one or two things happen or they just like them, they get that hype in the preseason, they could instantly become fantasy relevant. So, all right, let's keep it on the football topic here still, and then we'll kind of go into a couple other things here. But all right, I got a little challenge for you here. I got a little challenge for you here today. You don't even know about this, but I do have a challenge here. And I'm not going to lie. I've seen this on other, I've seen TikTok clips. I feel like TikTok and everybody, this podcast land, people get ideas from everybody in terms of like little games you can do on the show, little stuff here and there. So I've seen this all over the place, but I think it could be a good idea for us moving forward in terms of having a little competition on the show. So today's what I want to do, and you're going to bring one next week, okay? I stole this. I can't think of what the show is, but I love these guys. They're awesome. On TikTok, they have a great podcast. Yeah. It's about nothing, essentially. The podcast is about nothing, but they do a really good job. So today's, and if you get this, you just get a point, and we'll just keep track on how many points we have. We'll go back and forth each week. But, all right, so touchdown passes in a season. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names that have had the top 10 NFL touchdown seasons. Okay, so they're the top 10 NFL touchdown seasons of all time. But there's only 6 names. Passing touchdowns. Fire it up. You need 6.
I need six.
You get 3. You get 3 lives. Okay. So you get 3 lives.
Mahomes.
Go. Mahomes.
You're agreeing?
No. That's
Mahomes
one strike.
Have one of the top 10 passing touchdown seasons all time. I was gonna say, bro.
Yes, he does. That's not one strike. No, it's because he's not labeled. It's because he wasn't labeled he didn't have the number. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay.
So Mahomes 1. That is the number 2
number
though.
2. Oh, yeah.
With 50.
Yeah. Okay.
With
Peyton
50.
Manning. He's probably on. He's probably on.
Okay, that's 2.
Times, right?
Yeah. So there's only 6 guys.
6 guys to fill 10 seasons, right? Top 10. Okay.
Yes.
How many does he fill? I'm just curious. Peyton Manning.
Who? Peyton Manning fills
2. Okay. Oh, Brady.
2. Brady fills 2 as well. He's 10, and Brady's 10 and 2. And
yeah.
Who do you have? Mahomes is just number 2. And then you said Peyton Manning? That Peyton Manning is 2 as well.
So number 1.
No. It's 2 slots. He fills in 2 slots. Peyton Manning's number 1, 55. Yeah, so you have Pat, Peyton, and Tom.
Let's go.
You need 3 more. You need names.
Let's go Drew Brees.
Yep. Drew Brees is another one. Need 2 more names.
Roethlisberger. Okay, I thought
one life gone.
He stuck it on the back end for one of them, because I know he had that 5,000-yard season, so that's a big one.
Yeah, no, yards wise, that would have been a good person yards wise, but he's actually not even top.
Really? I thought with Antonio Brown one of those years he would have had a fat season.
Yo, he doesn't even have a top Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's actually shocking. You know what though? You got to understand he's
Yeah.
always had a run game,
Yeah.
dude. They pound it. You
All
know
right,
what
so
I
I
mean?
got
They
one.
always, whatever. But yeah, no, he's not even on here. He's not even in top 38.
Hey,
So he's never even had a 40
okay.
touchdown
All
season.
right, let's see. So I got 2 strikes left, right? And I got 2 players left.
2 strikes and 2
Well,
players left.
I'm gonna throw one here. Dan Marino.
Marino at 9 and at
Yeah,
5.
he's one of the ones that everyone says if he played in today's game, he would have gone nuclear.
I could see it. I could definitely see. How did he not win a Super Bowl, dude, though?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
It was a
fuck?
different game.
Yeah, I know, but if you're the only one slinging it. All right, last one. And you got 2 strikes. So you need to It's actually kind of crazy who's close. I didn't realize who was close in this. This one I'm actually shocked. I'm actually shocked right now that this is as difficult as it was, which I'm pumped.
I think the last
one,
because I mean, like the obvious ones people are gonna throw out are like Rodgers, people like that. But I don't think that he ever eclipsed that number. Yeah, I know.
You got 2 strikes. There's actually I'm gonna say some seasons here because it's actually some of the guys I didn't realize that. You know what I'm saying? Like the top guys, the guys that you've mentioned make sense, but like some of the ones from like post top 10, like maybe like 10 to 20 are kind of shocking. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Let's go Rodgers. Yeah.
You got it, Rodgers. All right, 1 point for.
Yeah, so I'll tell you.
1 point.
I was down
Good week.
to Rodgers and Elway, and I thought to myself, it's got to be Rodgers.
Elway is not even fucking close.
I'm just thinking.
Elway's not even Elway's. I don't even think Elway's on this list. So you want to hear some of the names? So it's number 1 at 55 is Peyton Manning. 2 at 50 is Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady. Number 4 at 49 is Peyton Manning again. Dan Marino had 48 at 5, and Aaron Rodgers had 48 at 5 as well. Drew Brees had 46 at 7. Aaron Rodgers again at 45. This is what I'm saying, dog. Aaron Rodgers is a fucking dog. Is a beast. Then it was Dan Marino at 9, Tom Brady again at 10, along with Drew Brees with another 43. Then you have Pat Mahomes with 41 again. So that's crazy as well. Yeah. But Stafford in 2011 and in 2021 with the Rams, he threw 41 both times, which is good right there at number 12. Then you have like Kurt Warner who threw for 41. You have Andrew Luck who threw for 40. You have Russell Wilson who threw for 40. And then it's like Dante Culpepper, Brett Favre, Herbert threw for 38. And then you kind of you have like, the name, kind of normal names. Josh Allen starts to get in there. But it actually is crazy.
Hey, clip this.
It actually is crazy. Like,
Joe Burrow's going to get into that list this year.
Oh my gosh.
This year.
You're talking within 36 plus touchdowns?
No. Joe Burrow's going to go 40 plus. Hold on.
You think he's going top
10 would be what? How many?
Top 10, he would need 44 to crack into the top 10. Or tie it with 43.
Yes. I
think you're going to see I think this is going to be start to be common.
Quick. So Joe Burrow will crack top 10. I'm not saying he's going to go freaking 55.
How many has he had?
Hear me out. This is why I think he's going to go. First off, year 4. So that he's getting more experience, right?
He's already gone 34 and 35.
So, and that too. This is what people don't realize with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, since he came into the NFL, has not had a regular offseason. So he got drafted, right? Then you have all your rookie crap So that's not a regular off season. Okay. Fast forward to the next year, he tears his ACL. So he's doing rehab, doesn't have a regular off season. Fast forward to this preseason, he has a freaking emergency appendectomy and doesn't get to do any preseason stuff either. Comes into the season and still does what he does. So this is the first time he's having a full off season. Bro, he's coming in and he's gonna finish top 10. I'm guaranteeing it this year.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't shock me at all. That wouldn't shock me at all. I mean, I could even see a couple guys. I could even see a couple guys. There could be multiple guys that
No,
throw for
no, no. But
40.
I'm saying
I really
top 10.
believe this.
Top 10 this year. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Top 10. That's what I'm saying. So I that's what I'm saying. Like that, I think there's a couple of guys. I think this is going to be one of the most exciting
Yeah.
NFL seasons ever. I'm serious. I think this is like the amount of quarterbacks, the amount of good teams, the amount of good quarterbacks is sick. I thought, like, for example, I thought like the Seahawks were going to be just a pushover team. Like, I'm serious. I thought they were going to be an absolute pushover team, get shit on. Same thing with like even like the the Redskins, the Commanders, or like the Giants. Again, they were another one that I thought pushover teams. They were going to get shit on by the Cowboys and Eagles, things like that. So I just think it's a good dude. The NFL is so good. It is literally so much better than any league. And it's funny because we are baseball guys. Like I love baseball. In terms of playing, I've always been a baseball guy, but it's like it's not even close. It's literally not even close. I don't even. The NFL is so much better. But I agree. I think there's a couple guys that could throw for 40 plus and maybe sneak into that top 10 area. So that was good. That was good. I like that. I like that little game in terms of maybe finding some top 10, trying to name all of them. I got that idea. Like I said, I saw somebody doing it. I mean, they weren't doing it with sports. They were doing it with like top 10, most popular fruits of all time. I think I saw one of them. So that's why I went with, something like this. So next week, you come up with, give me a top 10, either in NFL, it could be baseball. I don't care what it is. It could be it could be movies. It could be whatever. I don't give a shit what it is, but yeah, come up with my challenge for next week in terms of I got to name 10 things and get 3 lives essentially. Yeah, no, that was sick. Out of all of them, that was we kind of started it off easy. We can increase difficulty
the
as we go.
I think people that don't pay attention too much would have been Marino, but the other ones seemed obvious.
I wasn't sure. I don't know if I wanted to say I wanted to almost I wanted to make it harder, but I feel like that was the perfect level of difficulty. I wanted to make it harder and say you had to say how many times they were in it, or something like that. But I feel like it would be too difficult there.
Yeah.
That would have been way too difficult. But yeah, so I was either going with that or I was going with single season home runs. That was going to be my two, to where he had to name those 10 guys, or in this case, not 10 guys, but it is I think maybe 6 or something guys that maybe even less. It might be only like 5 guys that make up the top 10 there. But okay, just a couple more things here. Just making sure. Oh, college baseball. Definitely just kind of wanted to bring it up quickly. We're not, like I said, I don't watch it too much either, but I am looking forward to the college World Series. I love that. Kind of crazy. Wake Forest is number 1. And then 2, we said nuts that Florida swept Vandy, who was number 7, Florida number 5, Vandy. They swept there.
Lost 2-3 at home to Mississippi State this weekend too. So
yeah, I saw that too, and that's what they said about Wake Forest jumping to number 1. That's why they jumped to number 1. They jumped LSU because they lost.
So they lost.
What'd you say? 2 out of 3?
They just lost 2 out of 3 again. I believe so.
Oh, 2 weeks in a row.
Or 2 weeks ago, LSU.
Oh
lost,
shit! How's Cruz? Is Cruz still raking?
And what's wild is he's still hitting like 420 something. So
yeah, I know. I'm looking at.
He's at 419.
I'm seeing here. Let's see what he's
like.
$445.
Nah, that can't be updated. I was watching the game yesterday. I don't think it was that high, unless he went off yesterday.
Really? I'm on LSU's. I mean, I'll look at the stats here. It should be updated.
He must have had a pretty good last game. All right.
Yeah, 445.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, 445 is fucking crazy actually. But yeah, no,
Right.
I'm excited because I'm going. Like I know we talked about it on the show before, but I'm excited to go. Another shout out, like
Yeah.
obviously not that he watches the show by any means, but I do. I'm gonna give it a shot to get him on here because I'm gonna literally DM him and I'm gonna say this. Listen, I've never asked you for anything, but I have caught about
Yeah.
97,000 of your
Yeah.
spiked fastballs. So just
Yeah.
for that, could you come on the podcast for 30 minutes, talk about your experience in MLB so far? And I think if I hit him with that,
Right.
he'll laugh at that, first of all. And two, I think he'd come
Right.
on like for 30 minutes or so just to ask him some questions, hop on here. So yeah, no, I want to do that, but I just feel
Right.
like this isn't the time of the year. Like baseball's the juice for baseball. I'm like, my thinking is like around like the All-Star game. Like that would be a good spot to like get some guys on, maybe leading up to the
Right.
All-Star game too would be cool. So yeah, no, we've talked about it, but we'll get it going in terms of trying to get some guys on here moving forward. I also, and I'm not scared to do this either, I'll also just give it a
Yeah.
shot for guys I don't even know in terms of like the NFL, in terms of like, the MLB, things like that. I'll fucking DM guys. I'll try to get guys on. A lot of guys, the
Right.
worst thing that they could say is no. So, or not answer. So, yeah, no, I'll start reaching out. Maybe we'll get Spencer Strider because
Yeah.
he's absolutely fucking shoving. And I've caught about, like I said, caught about 10,000 of his bullpens between his one season, his half a season in the minor leagues
Yeah.
that he spent in the minor leagues. So I'll hit him up, but he's killing it. Dad brought it up to me. Not that I've been watching too much, but Dad brought it up to me. 2.51 ERA, 4-1 record, 46 innings pitched, 79 strikeouts, a WHIP of 0.92. He's probably hasn't thrown a fucking fastball under 98 throughout the entire season. The dude's a freak, and he is one of the
what's
guys that
wild
is
too,
fun
I'm
to
pretty sure
watch.
his one loss came in a game against Toronto where he went like 7 innings. I think he gave up 1 run, struck out 12, but he got out pitched by Chris Bassett of all people, who went complete game shutout. So he's just dude,
Yeah, we're just random, just one of those random days. Yeah. Um, Yeah, so no, we'll get that going. I wanna really start reaching out and get that now that things are heading into the summer. I'll have a lot more time with my job
Yeah,
because
things died down a
kids
little
won't be
bit.
in school and I won't have to do things from 3 to 10 o'clock at night anymore. But yeah, no, we'll definitely go into that. Last thing for the show today is I just don't know what's taking so long and why it's taking so long. But now they're saying that this new EA Sports NCAA game isn't coming out till the summer of
Oh, really?
2024,
Yeah.
dude. It's such bullshit. Yeah, so they
Yeah.
literally said 2022, they said 2023, and now it's saying the scheduled release arrival is the summer of 2024. I'm pissed. I feel like everybody's pissed. We need a football game. Madden fucking sucks. Madden literally is the worst game ever, dude. I get it every year. I download it and I play one game online, and I literally I hit a guy right in the chest. It pops up in the air. Then the fucking DB runs under it and takes it back, and I'm just like, fuck this shit. Like literally, f this shit. Madden is one of the most infuriating games ever. But I want this game to come out really, really bad. And I know, go ahead, you can fire it up because you're literally,
dude, I don't
you
even play
fucking
video
love
games
this
anymore,
game.
and like that's one game, and that if it came out, I would highly consider playing video games again. Yeah.
Yeah, downloading it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean,
100%. Yeah, playing it a couple days, a couple times a week or
right.
something, playing it with
Yeah.
Carson,
Yeah, no,
something like that. For
it's
sure.
it's
Yeah, no, I
definitely one of those
totally agree.
games that you want back, and especially now too with the way better graphics, way better gameplay that's available within the format though of the old game with all the colleges. I just think it's cool. It's super cool. So I yeah,
The
it was
speed.
fast.
The speed of the NCAA one was
Yeah.
so much better, dude. It was so much better. That's what I hate about what I hate about Madden. It feels like Like the thing that's cool about Madden or NCAA or football games in general, and what is it? It's the speed that these guys play at. You know what I mean? So in terms of like slowing it down and like the slow motion and like I hate that. I hate that gameplay, and I wish they would go back to the more
just fast.
almost, I guess, unrealistic fast video game type style games, because it's a lot better. I'm not gonna lie though, MLB The Show is a pretty solid video game. Besides the fact like the glitches are crazy, the glitches are insane. But that's about the only involvement that I have in baseball in terms of MLB on like a weekly basis. I guess you could say. I mean, even Nicole plays it a couple times a week. She'll play somebody online or something. MLB The Show is a pretty good video game. Now, if you were to pick up MLB The Show right now, you'd fucking hate it because hitting is hard as shit. But once you get the gist of it and once you get the hang of it, it is a really solid game. So I hope NCAA football comes out, and actually continues to be consistent and does it every year, because
agreed,
it could be a sick ass game. It could be a sick ass game. Yeah. What I don't get is, and maybe this is my $1 million idea, and we've talked about things like this in the past, but could you imagine they made like to where it's just updates, to where you just call it NCAA football. Then what you do is like you make it free. So that way I feel like that would help some of the rules in terms of name, image, and likeness. And stuff like that. And then what you could do is you could make it to where, they just get a percentage, or they get like whatever it is. Like, I don't know. I feel like that would be an easier way to do it in terms of some of these things, in terms of updates, the game, roster changes, things like that, having everybody involved in the game. I just don't get. The NCAA is like a $1,000,000,000 organization. I don't understand how they can't like dish out, like, even if it's, I don't know, well, dude, just percentages for guys. What do you got on that? What do you think?
Dude. Like, so that's the problem.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I think the issue may be with the free game is that you're basically going to be taking all of the school's stuff and putting it in the game. So the school's going to want to cut. Obviously, they'd get a cut from other stuff, but I don't. You'd have to figure out a way to get them their percentage and whatnot.
Yeah, but dude, there's so many like algorithms and shit to where you could make it to where you could do it based on usage in the game. You could do it based on, I mean, literally to where the teams get the cut and then they dish it up. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You give the team, each team in the country, each team in the game, X amount of money, and you do it that way. You pay the team. You know what I mean? I don't know why they've never even, considered it that way. Because this NIL shit and like the way they're making it so individualized to where everybody's like their own business, I think is going to hurt it in the long term. In terms of team, in terms of the sport, I'm not talking about the kids. The kids benefit from it because they're going to be making money. Everybody's going to know them a lot better. But in terms of like the sport itself, I don't know if they're hitting the nail on the head with this NIL shit and how they're doing everything. But because I think there's going to be some negatives that come out, and even like you see it, you see guys transfer. Like for me, that would be the worst. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like you have to learn that this shit is a business at some point, and like nothing's handed out. You're going to get replaced if you don't perform. Shit like that. I totally agree with that mindset. But in terms of like just the fact that if you come in as a freshman and you take a second to develop and you're like a little bit, you don't get it right away, you're a guy that needs a little bit of time. Now, all of a sudden, if they don't like what they see or they think you're a little behind freshman year, they're going to replace you. You're not going to even get that shot sophomore year, to that belief. I think that's the problem with a lot of this stuff is, a lot of the guys that are on the brink of like the transfer stuff or like not getting a starting job, it is going to take away from like the team stuff and just the overall feel within the team. It's going to be like a lot more anxiety. Okay. I'm not saying that it's going to cause these kids to have like mental health issues or anything. It shouldn't. But In terms of like the thoughts of, okay, does my coach even trust me? Does he even think that I'm going to be the guy that he wants to develop? Like, is he going to help me, or is he just looking at me right now and going, I'm just going to replace you
Right.
next year with somebody from the transfer portal? Like, I don't think that is healthy for a team environment. I don't think that's healthy for college football. And that's where I think that I want them to kind of, figure that shit out, because yeah, I just don't think it's good for, like,
Right.
Nick Saban talks about it a lot in terms of just the
Right.
environment it creates on the team, in terms of this person's better, this
Yeah.
person's more valued than this person. And in terms of like the team side of things, I don't know necessarily
No,
if it's the
you
best
can
thing for the
definitely make that
sport.
argument, and I think the caveat to it all, though, right, is always that it's always been like that for the coaches. So like, so that's a major issue. And for Nick
And
Saban,
I
right? Obviously, Nick Saban ain't going anywhere. So for him, yeah, he's talking about the way that it is with the players and the way that it affects the team. But like, how do you think it also affects the kid at freaking, let's say, Tulsa, that they go there and get recruited, have a huge year or whatever, and then the coach goes to freaking Georgia or whatever, one of these big schools, and then the kid, the new coach comes in, doesn't fit the scheme or doesn't fit the profile of what they're looking at, and then up until recently, the kid couldn't transfer out without having to waste a year of eligibility. So I think there needs to be found like that fine line.
That I agree with. That I agree
Yeah,
with. I totally agree with that. Like, coaches should not be able, like, I'm not saying should not, but I'm saying they shouldn't have a
yeah,
different set of rules in terms of leaving, because it's looked on as a good thing. It's
yeah,
looked on as a good thing if they move on to a better job. If they do good, if they move on. So I don't understand. I totally agree with that. That they should be, if you're
yeah,
not in a good situation, you should be able to leave. And also, that's the right there though. Like, if you go
yeah,
off, then the kid can leave now too. You know what I'm saying? If you go off at Tulsa,
yeah.
you could be playing for Alabama the following season. So it's like that it is. It's
I
a little bit of a mess. I really do think it's a
so
mess. It's a hard thing to get
so I
right.
I,
I
I
I, I really do
to
believe
get
that.
like even a little further deep on it. My take on all of it is I like it now because it provides that freedom for everyone to be able to make those moves. However, though, it also provides the opportunities to where you could mess up by making all those moves. So for me, what it comes down to is the maturity of the player, the people they surround themselves with, how they were raised, and all that type of stuff. To where is this going to be the smart decision for me, right? Like you saw someone like Jalen Hurts who
Yeah.
stuck it out, and then ultimately, when it got to the point of, hey, it's going to be Bryce Young, I'm sorry, it was going to be Tua. Then he decided to go to Oklahoma because he exhausted all of his options there, but he didn't just bail on the team, right? And Jalen Hurts has proven that he's surrounded by the right
Yeah.
people, good parents, good people around him, smart dude. So to me, I like it because it puts the onus back on the individual rather than them entrapping you with the way that the rules are set up. So
So that's the
yeah,
thing that I debate in my head is, I don't
yeah,
have a problem with anything that you just said. I don't think that anything there is wrong, bad, nothing. The thing that I worry about, and the
yeah,
thing that I don't know how I
yeah,
feel, and I
yeah,
literally just don't know, honestly, I debate it all the time, is, okay, is a college sport, are we
right,
trying to make this like professional sports,
right.
or are we trying to keep this like college sports? If everybody's on board, then it has to be fully fledged. This is now considered like a professional sport. College sports are considered like professionals. And you're getting there, like, it's paid, it's everything is an agreement between both sides. Like, there's no more. That's where it bothers me a little bit. Like, where I'm like, okay, college sports are supposed to be different than
Yeah,
professional sports. So that's what I love about college sports. So that's where I think it's hard. And I think that's why they make like these half-ass rules to where it's like half mixed in the middle of, okay, we want to give all these freedoms to where it's like professional sports, but then we also don't want to, because it's still college sports, and you want that pride, you want that school environment, you want that school pride,
yeah,
like, running through everybody to where you're proud of where you pick, and you want to stick it out and things like that. So that's where my debate comes in. Nothing. I don't think anything that you said was like wrong or bad or anything. I think a lot of it's a good thing for college sports, but I think that's just the other side of the debate. Is it's no longer going to be, and that's what sucks. There's just no longer going to be. It doesn't feel like college sports anymore. It feels like guys are like signing contracts, and you know what I mean? Like guys are like signing contracts, free agents. Like for example, DJ Uguangale.
Right.
Like that dude was literally a free agent. Like he's literally a free agent, and yet we're calling it a transfer. You know what I mean? So so it's just all different lingo. So it's crazy. It's gonna keep getting wilder, I think, and I think it's gonna get to the point where it's literally like professional sports at the college level.
You know, so that's kind of been my take on all this. Is I think it's already been there, and the schools have been able to make so much money off of the shitty rules that.
So you're saying this has been going on regardless of the image out to the public. Yeah, okay. But and that I agree with that. And I think that's the reason why it has to happen is because only the top huge moneymaker schools, then they have such an advantage when it comes to it because they can do it under the radar. They can hire the lawyers to fucking, close the or quiet down the buzz around certain shit. So I agree. It is going to.
So I just think it's been going on for so long that these freaking obsolete rules were in place that just basically hampered the kids' ability to make any money to the point where they couldn't even like again, obviously D2 baseball here. I couldn't even get paid legally under NCAA rules to do a hitting lesson for a kid while I was still at college as like a side gig to make some money. Like I couldn't even do that.
Right? Yeah.
Which again, if a kid goes to college to play the freaking saxophone, can he give saxophone lessons on the side to kids in the community? 100%. So I couldn't do 100% that legally because that was against the rules at the time. You know. So now if you extrapolate that,
for sure.
Someone at freaking USC or at Ohio State or something like that, the amount of money these schools are making off the kids. And it's been like that for years and years and years. I think that this was inevitable because it gets to a point where, hey, like what happens if a kid is really good in college, absolute stud, could have been making all this money, the school's making all this money off of them, and then he gets injured and now he's screwed. Whereas he could have had a couple mil in the bank potentially from how good he was in college, which a couple mil off of what the school is making is nothing. So I think this is inevitable because it's been happening for forever.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my take on it.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel, Reggie Bush. I mean, it's literally over.
You know what I'm saying? Like, someone like that. You know, all these dudes would have made a killing. You know, because the schools made so much money off of them. That's just my whole thing on it, dude.
I know. It's so fucking tough because think about Tim Tebow anyway.
But
he did it the right way and used his name, image, and likeness to eventually boost his career anyway. So that's my thing is like that's what college is supposed to be for. You're supposed to learn how to do that shit. So I don't know, but I agree because the NCAA and these schools take advantage of these kids and they don't give it. You know, that's where I totally agree. That's where the
that also goes. So
that's where the problem
like
is.
Tebow,
that's where the problem is for sure.
That goes back to what I was saying earlier, though. Tebow, good family, surrounded by good people, good values. So, like, no matter what, dude, Tim Tebow is going to be successful. So I think ultimately what's nice about now is that it comes down to the individual. And I think that's a big thing where they can't completely take advantage of you in totality anymore. You know what I mean? Obviously, they're still doing it to an extent.
Yeah,
but like you at least get a piece.
And the side that I hate, though, the side that I hate of it, though, is it's going to be these and it's already happening, and it's these dudes that are gonna it is so they think they're so big league already, and it's like that's the part of it where they're rolling in with their chains, and I mean it's just going to be their fancy cars, and I think college should be that. Yeah. I'm not saying humbling experience because if you go to the University of Alabama, if you go to Oregon, you're going to be taken care of to the max. You're going to be taken care of to the max. So that's where, like,
Dude,
I don't know, in
but
terms
again
of, I
though,
don't know. I don't know, in terms of
I'll say one more
everything,
thing.
it's
It's
so
like
hard.
I still think it comes down to like who you're raised by, who you're surrounding yourself with. Because for example, like Arch Manning, his NIL valuation is like 3 point something million. I read a story earlier this week that Cooper reached out to Sarkisian throughout this whole process to let him know, hey, he is not coming to Texas for NIL. He is not taking a dollar of NIL money until he earns the starting job. Now, again, I don't know if this story is true, but again,
Yeah.
you look at someone like the Manning family, right? There's obviously they have money, right? They've all freaking earned it playing throughout their career, but you're surrounded by people that understand the the quality individual matters because there's nothing bad you could say about the Mannings. That's just a fact. Like absolutely nothing. So I think
Yeah.
again, it really comes down to is who are you surrounding yourself with? What kind of person are you? And obviously, situation is going to dictate that as well. But still, you could still not come from
Yeah, no,
money and be
I
surrounded by the right people and do things the right way. So,
yeah, no, I agree, and like anything, there's going to be people
100%.
that fuck up a good thing. There's going to be
Yep.
good people that take advantage of a good thing. So yeah, no, I think that's what's going to happen. Is there's going to be dudes that fuck this all up and fuck
Yep.
their lives up over this NIL shit, and then there's going to be dudes that use it the proper way, use it to boost their and maybe somebody that wouldn't normally make, and normally make money even post college. Like, for example, like some of these guys, and I know you don't have a TikTok, but there's this dude, and I don't, honestly, I don't even want to really get into it too much, but just this is an easy example. There's this dude, Adrian Nunez. He was a bench guy for Michigan NCAA basketball. Blew up with his girlfriend on TikTok. They're huge. I'm talking like huge, huge, huge influencers, millions and millions of followers. They're walking on red carpets, shit like that. And he was a bench guy on Michigan basketball. You know what I mean? So that's a prime example, and that's where I think it's a good thing, to where it gives guys chances to where or just people chances to do something like that with their lives, to where like they can really take advantage of their situation and make the most out of it.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, some of it's luck, of course, but yeah, no, I think it is overall. I think it's going to continue to get.
It's going to be,
It's going to continue to grow. Like all this shit has continued to grow. So that's why I want it. By the time our kids are freaking up and rolling, I'm hoping that, it's no longer, okay, how can we get it to where we don't have to pay for college, or how you can not have to pay for college. I want it to be to where it's like the goal is to make fucking money when you get to college and like go somewhere. And don't get me wrong, the most important thing is, obviously a good situation, but yeah, it is going to get crazy. I really do think it's going to get crazy. You see Gary Sheffield's kid at all?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. That just popped into my head right here. Holy shit. Just, And then he like hezzied too. He like gave the little hezzy. I fucking love that shit. You've seen my swing. I had that. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't Gary Sheffield in it, but I had that little timing tick here, and I love that shit. And dude, that swing is scary. That dude hit a fucking bomb, bro. Is he gonna be? He's in high school? So is he draft? Did they talk about him for the draft? Gotta be. There's no way that motherfucker doesn't get drafted. So yeah, no, I saw that TikTok. That's one of the ones I saved. I mean, that shit's wild. That shit's wild. But yeah, that was just random. I'm thinking about NIL. I'm thinking about all these people that are going to be fucking making a killing off in college sports.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good shit. It's definitely good shit. But yeah, no, that's really what I got. That's all I got. I think we're all done for today. That was a good show. Honestly, we went longer than I thought we were going to go, but brought up some good topics, started getting into some good shit. Good job on the NFL passing touchdown leaders for a single season. But other than that, thanks for listening to the Arm Barn podcast. Follow everywhere. Check out both episodes. We're going to have 2 episodes coming out today. I'm going to kind of just do it right now and fire both up and create them and post them both now. So that way I can focus on getting out some clips. Hopefully getting some shit out there. So good stuff overall. Fantasy football. I do think eventually we need to just have a segment once a week, even if it's 30, 45 minutes where we just talk about fantasy football. Eventually, we're nowhere near ready for that, but we gotta grow. We gotta grow a little bit first, but that's what I got. No. You got anything else for the viewers, for the listeners?
Clip it from earlier.
All right.
It's happening.
You did fucking say that. You did say that today, that he's joining the top 10.
Yep.
You think he's going to have a top 10
Yes.
passing touchdown season this year. So we're going to hold you accountable to that this year for sure.
Let's do it.
But all right, that's all I got. Everybody, thanks for listening. Enjoy your week.